And this week, the DA's future within the national coalition hangs in the balance right now. The two biggest parties in the coalition, the ANC and the DA, clashing over budget proposals, including the 0.5 percentage point hike in VAT. The DA yesterday voting against the adoption of the fiscal framework for the national budget, which was supported by the ANC. This raises questions about whether it'll stay in the coalition. It's going to court today. Newzroom Afrika's Ziyanda Ngcobo tracking developments for you. Joins you now live from Cape Town. Ziyanda, good morning to you. Difficult to see how this ends, but certainly the coalition in the balance this morning.
Absolutely, and there's absolutely no doubt that it is very tense between the two biggest coalition partners in that government of national unity. This morning, the DA filing papers in the court that I'm standing in front of this morning to challenge the adoption of the 2025-26 fiscal framework during that joint standing committee on finance meetings on Wednesday, where, of course, there were issues around procedure. According to the Democratic Alliance and the EFF, they believe that the committee chair did not actually follow the correct procedure when invoking that Money Bills Amendment Act. And Stephen, it's interesting as well. I must share this anecdote that I was reminded yesterday by one leader of COSATU that, in fact, the existence of this very act, it comes as a result of the alliance partners being upset with Trevor Manuel and Thabo Mbeki, if you recall, and they felt that the Treasury had too much power over the public purse. And now that very same piece of legislation might be coming back to bite, the ANC in the bottom, to use a more polite word there, Stephen. So when we talk about the future of the government of national unity, we know that the federal executive of the Democratic Alliance is meeting at 1 p.m. today to discuss a way forward over and above this court action that they're taking. But certainly lots of conversation about why the Democratic Alliance is inviting the courts to intervene in a political process in many aspects. But they are arguing that the procedure that was followed is fundamentally flawed insofar as how this report was adopted. But I want us to listen to what our colleague Ngcobo put together about the possible options that lie ahead and scenarios insofar as a government of national unity is concerned.
GNU partners have made no secret of their disappointment, with some even calling it a betrayal.
The ANC is going to have to reflect on this. Politically, what is the meaning of this? What should we do now to respond to this eventuality where there is a complete betrayal by one of the parties who are represented in the GNU?
Others were just as unhappy.
I wish to caution the DA that if the DA think that their views are a master plan for all of us, they must wake up and think again. We are here to represent our constituency. We are here to represent the people of South Africa. We are not here to take mandate from the Democratic Alliance.
We are fighting here today with our GNU partner, the DA. Since I joined this parliament, the name of the poor has been used by every Tom, Dick and Zabulani. Everyone, the poor, the poor. The DA wanted to treat the VAT issue with Bella. Where was the poor in that transaction?
The DA was unmoved by the criticism, declaring it would serve South Africa even outside the government.
The Democratic Alliance will serve South Africans wherever we see it fit and best to serve them. We have not been in opposition because we've been in government, but the fact that we are in government does not say that we can let things go unanswered.
The DA's federal executive will meet to discuss the party's future in the GNU. For Newzroom Afrika, Channel 405, I am Vuyo Mvogo.
So, Stephen, that's what happened yesterday in the proceedings in the afternoon. And of course, lots to be said about how other parties feel about the Democratic Alliance, but they remain steadfast that they have, acted correctly in this matter. But if we take a look and reflect rather on what that leaked audio of President Cyril Ramaphosa was saying, in essence, he's basically saying that they've defined themselves outside of the GNU, and pretty much the DA has put themselves in this corner, so they must see to finish how they get themselves out. And in fact, that was echoed by ANC chairperson Gwede Mantashe, who, when I spoke to him immediately after the proceedings, said that, well, they're basically, the DA that is, are going to have to just walk away from this government of national unity because they have chosen themselves to not adopt this fiscal framework. They have chosen to exclude themselves, and that they've put themselves in such a bad position that they can't even climb down from their rigid position to say absolutely no VAT hike. And of course, the shopping around that the ANC has been doing in the last couple of weeks in an attempt, of course, to ensure that the first leg of the budget passing is concluded, and also the reconfiguration of the government. Action SA, of course, leading that process in many aspects, but also interesting how Build One South Africa volunteered their 2 seats as well, insofar as being able to get this going. So it looks like it's going to be quite a process for the Democratic Alliance when talking about the political aspect, but also what they're going to be doing in court here today.
Thank you very much indeed, Ziyanda and Ngcobo. Of course, more developments as we expect through there, Ziyanda.